Support for How in the Hell Did I Get Here comes from the Coloring Book Coach. Did you know it's possible to heal your heart and more through coloring and the support of the Coloring Book Coach? Visit thecoloringbookcoach.com for your free coloring book. Hey gang, it's Kim, and in case you missed it, we had a party last week. Everyone was invited, and we had some awesome guests show up for our very first virtual happy hour. It was so much fun that we all decided we're going to do it again. So if you weren't there, you can get in on the action next time, which is Wednesday, September 25th. It was 2 hours of laughing our asses off, drinking, telling stories, and getting to know each other better. Plus, we gave away some pretty fantastic prizes. Everyone had a lot of fun. So if you want in for the next time, get yourself over to howinthehellpodcast.com and sign up for 2 hours of too much fun. This is a great way for you to help support your favorite podcast. Meet us, make some new friends, and maybe be featured on an upcoming show. Space is limited, so sign up now to guarantee your spot. Oh yeah, and we make a video of the call that you can download and watch later if you reserve a spot. So that party was so much fun that for this week's podcast, we're bringing the party to you. This week's show features excerpts from the party, and it's hilarious. We had myself, my 4 sisters, and assorted guests show up, as you'll hear. Our first segment brings you into the party, and then we roll into a selection of stories all about poop. Yeah, I said poop. I always said, you know, you're among true friends when you can have open and funny discussions about poop and/or sex. Well, we had some great poop stories last week. Don't freak out. They all involved kids. And I'm not sure if we'll ever talk about sex, but you never know with us. Anything's possible. Quick note, because we recorded this during our first live happy hour on a Zoom call, some of the audio may be a little uneven. This is Kim A. Floden, and you're listening to How in the Hell Did I Get Here? As always, today's episode includes swear words. Stay with us. Welcome to the fun. This is just a clip of the awesomeness and mayhem that we had going on the night of the party. In this clip, Tammy starts off telling us how much she is enjoying our signature cocktail, the Drunken Donkey. Get the full recipe when you reserve your spot for the next party. Then, guest Janine explains why she's here to drink. If you haven't listened yet to episode 2, All About a Donkey, and Meet the Sisters, you might not get all the donkey references. Suffice it to say, there was a time when Carrie was actually considering getting a donkey, because all the sisters thought it was a great idea. And doesn't everybody need a donkey? Listen in now to this fun clip from our very first virtual happy hour.
I went and got all the things for the donkey.
And how is it?
You were awesome. I like it. I put because don't make ice at home. I put popsicles in it, organic fruit, like popsicles, and I had like a berry one that I thought would go nicely with it. So
that can only work. Yep.
Right?
Kim, I was gonna say, why all the people signed up that aren't here? They just wanted the drink recipe.
Right?
Those
right?
motherfuckers.
Right?
You know what? It sucks to be them.
Right.
Amen.
Damn Skippy.
Plain and simple, it sucks to be them. I invited like a shit ton of people, you know,
I did too.
Like in real life. And
in real life, I say in real life too, it's an EDS thing. High five,
and they're like, tease it up.
We've got a bonding thing going on here.
Carrie, this drink is powerful.
I think I really because
I missed out on what the actual donkey drink is.
Aaron, why are you admitting this on the air?
Unicorn lady.
She doesn't know what it is.
You donkey that.
Carrie invented it.
Yeah,
I know the name.
Share it with Aaron real quick.
It's vodka with ginger lime ice. You know that ice.
Yeah,
carbonated
ice
beverages.
or whatever it's called.
And then you top it off with just a splash of
donkey.
Kombucha,
donkey,
cranberry coolio, and then a squeeze of lime.
Okay.
And
And it's
Donkey
fucking
is
kick.
no question.
What?
Okay, for us
When
Canadians
are
in
you
the
getting
room.
a donkey for your kitties?
Tomorrow.
We're doing it tomorrow.
Back to this again. Jesus.
This was a very
Yeah.
real thing.
Right, we rented a bigger vehicle this time for that purpose. Hauling rocks and hauling donkeys.
And dead bodies.
And dead
And dead
bodies.
bodies, yeah.
You know, I'm here.
We just did back to school on Tuesday, and I'm like, okay. I knew I was gonna drink on Friday, and then I was like,
What do you think?
I'm like, I'm not
I
going
know.
to drink on Friday. And that's
I'm like, I could have like one glass. I could have like, the donkey drink, and then I was like,
Donkeys
it's
need a
one
partner.
of those days, and I was just like, the kids came home and they're getting along, and then they're at each other's throats, and then I'm like, I'm gonna take off your shoes and beat you with it because I can't handle all the whining and the screaming and the crying. Like, I'm just like, geez, Louise, you guys were getting along for 5 minutes. You had 3 months together, and now, after 2 days of being at school, you're a bunch of assholes. Like, I can't handle this.
I gave birth to assholes.
So then I went into my fridge and I saw this giant bottle of wine, and I went, I don't have all the ingredients for the donkey drink, but I'm gonna get them, and I'm gonna drink this weekend. This is my getting shit-faced wine glass. I made this. I
Nice.
made this,
To get yourself
made
shit faced.
and it says, "Of course I drink like a fish. I'm a mermaid."
There you go. Erin has a fan in Janine who wants to hear that famous line from Erin's X-Lax adventure. That story was told in our February 14th, 2019 episode and is a recommended listen. But in case you haven't heard it yet, let me give you some quick backstory here. Erin and her family and our sister Sky and her family take a vacation to Disney World, where Erin quickly becomes constipated and buys some X-Lax to relieve her distress. The only problem is that she's sort of in a hurry and doesn't quite read the directions correctly, and all hell breaks loose. And that's just putting it mildly. Listen to the rest of the story to hear her whole adventure. In this clip, you'll get a good idea of just what went down. Or in this case, cleared out.
Erin, can I
Yes?
ask just one request?
Yes.
Can you say gentle, effective relief?
Oh my God.
You would make my world.
Okay, so somebody, Kim, was it you? Or somebody posted that happened to somebody else, the exact same story. And so that person and only that person on this planet knows exactly what I meant by gentle, effective. Oh my God. Gravel? I didn't even know we had gravel in us, but that was what was coming out of me.
In the chamber?
Sky, you remember, I was shocked. I panicked. I think I was on the toilet when I screamed out, oh my God. I ate 18 wafers and literally panicked. I think Tommy, Sky, had to, well, she's not there, but Tommy,
Of course she's
Sky's
not.
husband, had to calm me down because I thought I needed to go to the emergency room. Well, the people at SeaWorld, as I was stuck in the middle of a lot of people in the very center row, I'm not kidding when I say it sounded just like The Dumb and Dumber, if you ever saw that movie.
Mm-hmm.
When they fed him X-Lax.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. Yeah, it was really bad. And so bad that
I have a rumbly
had
in
to-
my tumbly.
Yeah, Erin, yesterday
Forever here.
my stomach was like volcanic for some reason for a while. I was making all these noises. And I finally realized that it was going, Unterkleben, Glauben,
That's
And your cats ran away.
Yeah, my cats ran away from me. Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
is
a bunch of weirdos.
hilarious.
So, Aaron, you have to say gentle, effective relief. You have to actually say it. Virginia.
Gentle, effective relief. I don't know if that's how I said it, but it was absolutely the opposite. Yeah.
I'm telling you, you have made my year.
Hey, my ass paid for it.
Tammy shares a story about her little brother Mikey and how much he loved to go potty in the great outdoors when he was just a little tyke. And I share a similar tale about a 4-year-old and a backed up septic system.
You said
I have a good story, actually.
Let's hear it.
I have a story. So, like, I grew up, like, in that, like, John Hughes, like, Richie neighborhood type of thing. That was, like, our neighborhood for sure. And people are really, like, snooty there. They have, like, this entitlement. So, my house was the bus stop, like, where everybody would, like, go and hang out and wait for the bus. When we were, like, not cool enough to drive ourselves or, like, underclassmen. So my baby brother had a problem with pooping.
Oh, boy.
So, like,
Happens to the best of us, right, Aaron?
Happens.
he wouldn't poop. He was a withholder. So my mom would put,
Aaron.
It's a poop order.
he would withheld poop. He purposely withheld his poop.
I did not
So
do
my
that.
mom had to, like, my mom would
Sorry, Tammy.
She would dose him with cod liver oil in his juice.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing he would drink. So I remember, like, when we lived on the first block, like the first house we lived in, wasn't part of, like, the big, like, open community. We lived kind of like in a forest, like, house, like, where it was okay for little boys to go pee on weeds because no one else could see them. But then we grew up and, like, I grew up, but, like, they were still little at the time. And, I didn't grow tall. I just, like, aged. And, and so we lived in a new neighborhood and, like, now I started high school and everybody waited at, like, my house for, like, the bus. So, like, and everybody could see everybody because there was, like, no trees blocking, the view. And so Mikey went outside to, like, water the weeds because that's how you got him to pee. And my mom saw him from upstairs. Like, I'm like, Mom, like, I'm mortified. I'm like, Mikey's peeing in the front yard. And my mom was like, so what she do was she, like, screams, right? And my brother had, like, dropped him out and, like, his little winky was sticking out and he was, like, going tinky winky everywhere. And when he turned around and the biggest poop flew out of him. The biggest poop flew out of him.
Tammy's little brother Mikey just had a big accident on the lawn. Stay tuned for what happens next. Hey there, it's Kim. I'm just popping in to answer a quick question someone asked, which is what more they could do to help support the show beyond sharing, reviewing, and subscribing. Here's a quick list. 1. Buy us a cookie or two at ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/howinthehell. It's actually spelled ko-fi.com and then /howinthehell. 2. We have fun merchandise. Shirts, mugs, bags, even socks. The link is at howinthehellpodcast.com. 3. Are you a small business owner? You can advertise on the show. Email howinthehell@gmail.com or call 323-488-3303. Thank you. And now back to the show.
Biggest poop flew out of him. The biggest poop flew out of him. I mean, I was, like, on the floor. Like, I went from mortified to, like, can't, like, maintain my composure in, like, under, like, 20 seconds. So anyway, she's, like, having a meltdown because the rest of the whole North Shore now, like, sees him, like, witness this, right? And it's, like, on the news, right? And and I have to go to school the next day. I'm like, I don't know whether to be, like, mortified or, like, if it's all, like, cool,
Because
so
everybody
anyway,
poops.
Right, everybody poops, just not in the front yard. So
Not true in my family.
I have a story similar to this. When I was living in the Hamptons, I was living with these people, and they had a 4-year-old boy. And for whatever reason, we were on a septic system, and it backed up. So if you've never had the joy of a septic system backing up, it comes it's like poop shooting out of your shower drain.
There.
Everywhere.
And everywhere. So we come home and there's literally, I'm not even kidding you, shit everywhere. It's in the basement. It's in the next floor. It has shot out of the drains. So and this has happened. Well, the kids were at home with I think there was a babysitter, but obviously she wasn't paying attention. So the 4-year-old had gone out and shit everywhere in the yard and left mounds of shit and piles of toilet paper. This is in the Hamptons, people. The Hamptons.
Oh my God.
And it's
Rebel.
what happened here? We pull in and we're like, what happened? It's what happened? So yeah, so that was my story. And it's I am so afraid of septic systems now. It's
I don't
my
blame you.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
When they go wrong, they go wrong.
When they go wrong, they go
Bad
wrong.
septic system and a shitty babysitter.
Yeah.
You know that's going to amount to chaos.
I mean, there were turds floating down the hallway.
Ew.
Mikey wasn't the only little boy that enjoyed the freedom of going in the great outdoors. Our brother-in-law, Van, who's Aaron's husband, also had the pleasure of letting it fly in the yard as a child.
I was 5, and at that point, I just learned how amazing it was to drop your pants and pee outside.
That's what happened to Mikey.
Yeah, and then I didn't really differentiate between peeing and pooping at that point. So, hey, I was out in the yard and I had to go, and so I dropped it and let the deuce fly right in the middle of the yard. And of course, my mom came chasing after me and made it very clear that I can't do that. And, but the part that I remember is we came back the next day and we're walking through the yard with my grandma, and my grandma looks down and she sees my poop sitting there on the ground. She's like, "Oh, that must have been a big cat."
Only a grandma would say that.
And I had the opportunity there to fess up and say, "No, Grandma, that was me," but I didn't. I think I just kind of nodded "Yeah, that's a big cat."
You've been listening to How in the Hell Did I Get Here?, which is written, produced, and hosted by Kim A. Floden with editing help from Carrie Floden. Thanks so much for listening. You're just the best, and we really appreciate you and all you do. We know you're sharing, subscribing, and reviewing the show, and we love you for that. Keep up the good work. This week's episode featured stories from myself, Tammy Price, Janine Lebsack, Aaron and Van Beach, with help from our partygoers, Carrie Floden, Jenny Gardner, Sky Dunn, Laura Norman, and guests. We hope to see you at our next virtual happy hour. Find out more about Tammy Price and Janine Lebsack in our show notes. This week's show is sponsored by The Coloring Book Coach. Find your free coloring book at thecoloringbookcoach.com. All the music on this episode is created by Silent Partner, who we found on YouTube's Creator Library. Meet you back here next week for more How in the Hell Did I Get Here stories. Until then, pay attention, my friends. You just never know when you might find yourself saying, "How in the hell did I get here?"
It does remind me of the shitbird at the farm.
Larry's shitbird at the farm story.
Good idea.
Is it one of the crazy
Yeah, Aaron, you tell the story.
I don't even know the story outside of the shitbird call.
Do it, Aaron.
There was this bird that was fucking insane.
And it was nighttime. It was dark out. We were around the
Interrupting
fire.
our party around the fire, and literally all of us just focused in on the shitbird. I dubbed the shitbird. I did that.
Larry.
You're
dubbed
awesome.
with the shit
Well, let's hear the call.
No.
Does it sound like
Not enough. It's up to you.
Come on, Aaron. You said you know the call.
No, it was Larry can do the shitbird call.